I'm back. My husband was away last week and I felt a bit vulnerable to do any posts without him. So there you go. He's back now, so I've got him to hide behind at the end of the day. I wanted to talk to you about anxiety and mindfulness today. Well, mindfulness in general. Obviously it's really trendy at the moment. I'm wishing I'd done a business in colouring in books, because apparently sales of colouring in books have gone up 500% because of mindfulness. Maybe I'll try and create one anyway. Watch this space. I got into mindfulness earlier this year. I'd had some counselling on the NHS, and my NHS counsellor recommended me to do a mindfulness course on the NHS. And I'd previously been told about mindfulness and slightly been wary because of its roots in, well, some of its roots in Buddhism. So as a Christian, I was a bit concerned. Is that going to be something that compromises what I feel comfortable with spiritually? But because it was an NHS referred thing, I thought, well, I guess it's going to be done in a sort of clinical way rather than a spiritual way. I did this 8-week course, 2 hours a week. It was group therapy or group mindfulness training sessions. Really diverse group of people, a fantastic psychotherapist who was teaching it. And we got taught lots of different mindfulness practices. Now, mindfulness is essentially learning to understand your mind, to see what's there. I think we're so often super busy that we don't even know what's going on. And in the Christian faith we say be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But I don't think we then give ourselves any ways to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And actually it's very impossible, I've realised, to renew your mind if you don't even know what's going on in there in the first place. And I think so often we're afraid to find out what's going on in our mind that we just run away from it. And we're afraid that we might find a nasty thought or something horrible we're feeling. But actually, partly through the counselling I've had, where the counsellors say don't judge your emotions, you've got to sit with them, because only in sitting with them can you really find out where it's coming from, and then kind of grow from that and learn from it. But also, through mindfulness, just being taught actually you're there to observe your mind's thoughts and feelings. And what really helped me with it was they say, imagine your thoughts and feelings as this river in front of you, and instead of saying, I am depressed, I am sad, I am happy, I am joyful, you say, there is depression, there is sadness, or there is happiness, there is joy, because actually it's important not to be defined by your emotions, but to be able to stand back from them. And that's been a really helpful thing for me in mindfulness, because as well, if my emotions don't define me, I can say, well, today there's depression and there's sadness, and I feel there's a really horrible feeling. Okay, now I can do today an awareness of that and be gentle with myself. And that's a big part of mindfulness as well, is learning to be gentle with yourself, be kind with yourself, be patient with yourself. So I would highly recommend it. You can ask your doctor and try and do a course on the NHS. Otherwise, I'm going to put below in the link to the woman who actually did my mindfulness course in the NHS, but she also does private courses in Richmond. And I would say for me, mindfulness has really helped with anxiety and not so much with the depression. For me, that gap is because I guess the anxiety probably is an overlay on top of the depression that comes from this deeper fear. But actually it then is about lots of little things. Whereas the depression, for me, is about a lot of bigger, deeper questions, like do I really have value, and how can I be sure of that? And perhaps you might say, well, as a Christian, you should know God loves you. Well, yeah, it's easy to know God loves other people, but then there's the question of, well, is God really loving? And it gets a bit philosophical and existential, and I guess that's where mindfulness cannot help. It can't answer those questions, but what it can do is help you to be peaceful with yourself. So I would really recommend it. I'll put the links below. And yeah, I mean, another thing actually, I suffered with was not being able to sleep. I had probably quite a lot of months last year where I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up maybe 2 in the morning and just not get back to sleep, or I'd get back to sleep, the alarm would go off and then boom, back to sleep. And what I found is, since I've learned these mindfulness practices, I have had very few nights where I haven't slept, because I've been able to do different meditations and really calm my body. And either I've woken up in the morning with my headphones in because I've got back to sleep, or I've just got to a calm place where I don't mind being awake in the night, and I'm not awake and anxious, I'm just awake and going, okay, this is fine. If I don't sleep, I'm just going to rest and be calm. So I would really recommend mindfulness. I think it's got popular for a reason, and it can really help you.